We're just coming to the Blue Lagoon. It's a little narrow entrance, and it's not a very big anchorage in here. See if we can put the anchor down and maybe tie our stern to the rocks. But looks like there's a spot there for us, which is good.
How was it?
It's good. It's about 60 metres back, and there's a little beach, and then the cave keeps going further back than that.
Oh, up here.
I don't know what's in the other one.
Fine plastic bag.
I found a plastic bag. Something else is what I was about to rescue until I realised it was a dead herring gull. Yeah. So there's two guys swimming in there as I was leaving. And I said to them, just don't freak yourself out, there's a dead herring gull. There's a little water up there. We're just heading down to St. Julian's Bay, which is the bay basically west of Valletta, and there's a bit of stronger weather coming through about 2 or 3 days time, so hopefully we get some good protection in this bay and gives us good access into Valletta as well to pick up the boat that we've got to pick up and go and see customs about the money we want to get back from things that we've bought in Malta and even in other parts of the European Union. This is St. Julian's Bay, and sort of northwest of Valletta, up that coast. And it's lovely, isn't it?
It's pretty. It's small. There's shops and restaurants and hotels.
Yeah.
And old stuff.
I'll be surprised if there's not music.
Thump music until 2 a.m. Yeah.
But that's okay.
We're used to that.
We sleep through most things now.
Yeah. It's sweet. There's a lovely boat just near us. And as we anchored, we waved as we usually do when they come over in their dinghy to say they've just broken the mooring line. And they'll be diving to get it, just letting us know. And we see now they've found it, so we might have to move.
Yeah.
Depending on what that happens to them, if that means that come round.
Yeah, I'm just not quite sure where their mooring is, and if they then swing onto their mooring, it might be too close to us. Normally the moorings, they don't have as much scope as when you're anchoring, so they won't move around as much. So, if you get too close to them on one wind direction, if it turns around the other way, you can end up banging into them because you'll swing a lot further.
We kind of all have to do the same thing. If everyone's anchored, if everyone puts out 4 times as much chain as depth, we're all going to move the same way. But if someone puts out a stern line and doesn't move, then the rest of us can whack into them all.
I had some guy on YouTube told me, I always put out 10 to 1. I'm thinking, in the med, mate, you'd be a bloody minesweeper.
Yeah.
Every anchorage.
There's no space.
You would just curl up the 5 or 6 boats around you in the middle of the night. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, pretty standard is 4 to 1.
Yeah.
But the balls, the mooring balls, obviously don't have that, so they don't move as much. So we're really mindful who's at anchor and who's on a ball near us.
Yeah.
Because that affects which way we move and who's going to come into us in the night, or who we're going to move into in the night.
Yeah, so we got woken about midnight, and by a guy behind us here, a nice English couple, banging on our hull, telling us we're having a bit of a problem with the large boat over here. So the wind had died. So earlier in the day, the wind was coming through here, and I'll show you a sec. Our chain is sort of laid out through this way, and but at night, then we'd sort of swung around to this orientation. And but we'd just basically swung on the end of our chain, like I hadn't reset or pulled the chain, and they swung around on their mooring line, and because their mooring line is just attached to a block of concrete on the ground, there's no chain,
they sort of extended out on their mooring lines, swung around, and look, I reckon they're probably about 80 foot, but it was the passerelle out the back, which extends probably another 15 feet, that came around, was just banging against our forestay. There's no issue, we just gave it a bit of a push and we separated really easy, but we decided to pick up our anchor and come over this way a little bit more, just so that we wouldn't have any problem. I could have just probably reversed up on the chain, that would have reset us away, but better not to have to worry about it. We're at the start of the Middle Sea Race, which is a 606 nautical mile classic blue water race. I think it's got about 110 entries. Very much like for Australians and New Zealanders, the Sydney to Hobart. It's just started. It does have multi-hulls in it, so there's a big try leading the fleet out of the harbour. And they've got a very nice, about 15 knots of wind speed at the moment, so they're reaching along. So they come out of the Grand Harbour. They started in the Grand Harbour with the cannons, and they go across the strait here to Sicily, up the Messina Strait between Sicily and the Italian mainland, around the top of the Aeolian Islands, Stromboli, on the top side of Sicily, come down the west side of Sicily, around those islands there. And then they head south. There's a couple of Italian islands in between Malta and Tunisia. And they go around those before they come back up. They come back through between Gozo and Malta, and then they finish back here in the harbour. Are you guys race control? Are we able to cut across? Sorry? The start's delayed? So we can head across? Yeah, beautiful. Thanks, mate. Yeah. We're coming for you. I think this.
That was so special. I've never seen the start of the race like that. It was beautiful, absolutely beautiful to be up close to them. You can hear them shouting, watch them put the spinnakers up, get the report from down. Absolutely spectacular. And then to see them like covering the horizon. That's right, yeah. So beautiful. Clean and bright.
We're just in Birgu?
Yes.
Birgu. So I think
A suburb. Call it a suburb of Valletta.
Yeah, it's one of the fingers that pokes out into the Grand Harbour. It's just opposite the main town of Valletta. And I think this all dates back to the 15th century.
Yeah.
Our local was telling us. So we came for a small visit, a couple of weeks ago. But we thought we'd come back and have a final visit before we head off to Tunisia.
Oh, nice little spot for coffee. Aussies. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. It feels so hot here. There's actually a beautiful breeze coming through these big, like those alleyways or something. People leave the windows and doors open again. It's into private life. You kind of don't want to look because they're all just sitting around having their coffee. The beautiful music, but it's lovely. Yeah. And they have their washing sitting out to dry out in the park, and their dogs. I can say one thing about the Maltese: they're great knockers.
It's a beautiful view over the Grand Harbour here. In the background is the entrance. I think you can't quite see it. The starboard lighthouse, I think it's called St. Elmo's Fire. And a month ago we sailed into here with a tailwind up our butt after an exhilarating day's sail from Sicily, and anchored around the corner of Manila Bay for about 10 days. So,
it's just breathtaking.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
Yeah, so we're about 4 days away from heading off to Tunisia. So just starting to prepare the boat now, and going through the passage plans. Yeah, not much food or anything else to prepare. No. It's probably leaving about 4 a.m, sailing through the day and then through the night, arriving the next day.
Yeah, just want to buy some stuff like here. It's a big English influence. They have a lot of English kind of things like baked beans and tea. Need to buy some of those kind of things to get our fix because we don't think we can get them in Tunisia.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Worcestershire sauce.
Yes. Okay, if you're in Valletta, highly recommend taking one of those little boats across the harbour. The bus is be 3/4 of an hour to get round there on the bus, and not that the bus is uncomfortable, but that's a very pleasant 5 minutes across.
5 minutes across the water.
Yeah, and €2, which is the same as what the bus fare is.
Well, the bus is €2 for an hour, so you could get other buses, but if that's all you want to do. Yeah, use them. I tend to avoid those people saying, come and have a tour, you know, hop on my boat. I'm like, yeah, it could be expensive, but nah.
Yeah.
Well worth it.
Lovely.
We're going into town or are we going to go?
So, you just didn't quite sell it to me. Coffee, bed trimmer, beers this way. Bus
terminal and war memorial that way.
Yeah.
Well, Malta has been a really, really lovely place to visit. It's little. You can feel it doesn't take much to kind of see just about everything here.
So we haven't really seen everything.
No. We're coming back.
Been here a month, but yeah.
But we don't spend all our time sightseeing.
No.
You know, we've done jobs for the boat and stuff. It is old. If you want to see old stuff.
And the scale of the buildings and the fortifications of the port are just magnificent.
Yeah. And the city of Valletta itself, the city centre, is beautiful.
It's beautiful. it's very cool and hip.
Yeah.
As we sit here on
On the steps, on cushions, drinking our beer,
drinking our beer.
looking out across the beautiful bay.
Yes. How's the bay? How's the water?
It is familiar. It's English. You have telephone boxes and letterboxes and social service and a really good bus system.
It's good coffees.
Great pastisseries. It's kind of a bit Arabic, a bit English, and a bit Italian.
Yeah.
Amazing archaeology. If you want to look at things 5,000 years ago, absolutely amazing, and no one's there.
Yeah.
Roman stuff, pre-Roman stuff. Well set up for tourists, I think.
Yeah, it's Valletta's a nice balance. Like it does cater for the tourists. If you get down the side there where the cruise boats comes in, and it's like a fleecing alley, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a great balance. Like it is a operating city as well. You feel like you're in the centre of the city, and it's got that hum and buzz. A lot of fun. Yeah. Just thinking back to the guy dancing in the street from the bar.
It's a very happy atmosphere.
Yeah.
And they do love their visitors.
Yeah.
I feel so privileged to be able to get to know these places. When you first see it, you're, wow, that's beautiful, but after a few weeks, what are we up to now, about a month, we're like going back to the same shops who greet us, and you just get to feel more comfortable and love it.
Yeah. And get a bit of a I suppose a balanced view of all the things in a place. We've been on bus trips through, let's say, some of the not so well off parts of Malta, and been to the seaside villages and the fishing villages. And,
yeah, it's been beautiful. We'll be back.
Camera? Dude? Yes? Camera. Shit.